This is the Tapo application for the Tapo C325WB, as we could see right here. On our main home screen, when we first land on the application, we're seeing all of the cameras that we have with Tapo. So if you have other cameras, they'll appear here. What we can notice in the upper left-hand corner, it says My Home. If I select that, I can toggle between multiple homes if I happen to have them. In my case, I only have one. Over here, we have an envelope with a red dot. That indicates that there is a motion alert or a notification that I should address. And then over here, the plus sign, that is going to be to add another Tapo device to your Tapo account. I'm going to select my notifications here, and you can see it lists out both of my cameras. In this case, we're going to look at my garage for the C325W, and here it's going to list what it's seen. We can see red dots indicate that those are things that I have not yet addressed or looked at, and by selecting one, it will open it up and show me this timeline view. And we're going to pause that right there because that is a person coming into frame. That is me. But we're going to get back to this screen a little later. This is one of the things that Tapo changed that I'm not sure how I feel about, but we're going to talk about it when we get to that area. I will state, for the purposes of this review, I am not using the paid subscription service at all. These are going to be all free to you with Tapo. So selecting our Tapo camera right here, it is going to bring up the live feed for this camera. Again, starting at the top of the screen, it is showing what the video quality is from this camera. Right now it's 2K. If I select this, I can select either 720 or 2K holding that, or I can leave it on what it is right now, which is auto, allowing it to auto switch between the two depending on bandwidth. To the right of that, we have a light indicator. If I tap on this, now I have turned on the two bright LEDs, and here it goes. Got a notification something was obstructing. Right now, I have chosen to turn on the LED lights on this camera, and you can see there's a countdown timer there. That's because we can actually select how long that stays on for so that we don't waste power or forget it. But I'm going to toggle it off again. You notice right there, it changes back to daytime mode because you saw a little white light there. That's indicating that it's going into its night mode for better viewing. That is the sprocket for settings. We'll get to that a little later. Right here in the lower left-hand corner of our screen, we've got a grid. If I tap on the grid, this will allow us to see multiple Tapo cameras all in one location. Right now, I only have the one as part of this grid, but I can select here, and then any of my live cameras I would be able to pick. So here is my other camera. I will say okay, and now I would be able to get two live feeds from both these cameras. Now that camera is taking a little time to boot up, but there we go. Now I can see these are both live, and I can view them from here. I can have 8 screens of a grid of 4. I'm going to go back to my singular one, and you see it kind of brings me all the way back here, even though I kind of wanted to go straight to the front. So this is something that they could work on, not having to scroll through everything. Just if I tap on this, bring me back to the first one. You can see you have the ability to have 13 cameras as part of that rotating grid that I was cycling through. To the right of that is a camera icon. Selecting that, well, that takes a still frame of whatever I'm looking at live. Same with the recording. If I select the record button, it is now recording what is being visibly shown right now. I can turn that off, and those get saved. As you see, they're sending them down to the Playback Memories area. We'll talk about that a little later. Right here, I have volume. You'll notice that this is the camera's microphone volume. Right now, I have it maxed out. However, the recommended is a little lower than that. It's about there. User preference, find out what works best for you, but that is where you would toggle that. Right here, we have the ability to expand to full screen mode. It is also accessible if we just have the gyroscope enabled on our smartphone. As you saw, I just kind of shifted it and it went back, but that's what that does. So I waited until it was a little darker to show you this part, and we'll make this full screen so you see that that adjusts as well. You'll notice that there are no IR adjustments later on because this only does color night vision. The one thing I dislike about this particular camera is when I double tap, you see right there, it zooms in all the way. I would rather that it gives you an incremental step up in zooming, because there are some times that maybe I don't want to look right into my neighbor's house. Double tapping does pull that back out, but here you can see this is actually starting to get twilight where I am. And you notice it's very colorful. You're not missing anything. If I turn on the light, you see over there in my car, it popped on, and then right there, that bush is kind of showing light from this as well. Now, if I bring it over here, come up to the settings, and we go to video quality, which I'll show you later, and change that to high dynamic, and come back, swap it, And there you can see with the light on in high dynamic range. So I just wanted to wait until it was dark to show you that, as well as give you a little example here of what that colored night vision looks like. Coming down, we have our talk. Selecting this brings up the talk ability. However, in the upper right hand corner here, we have some settings, and that is the camera's microphone and the camera speaker. This will allow you to adjust those right before you talk to somebody. And in order to, you have to press and hold. So right now, my neighbors are hearing me talk through the camera. So I'm going to stop doing that. If I scroll down, you'll notice that there's this ad for the Tapo storage everywhere. I can remove that if I don't want to see that. Normally there will be clips down there. I'm going to select the down button right here, and that takes that away. You notice the space now underneath is not congested with that sign up for Tapo. Again, if I was using the service, I would have the ability to access my cloud clips right here. We're going to come over to voice call. Selecting this will allow you to connect in real time. So notice I don't have to press and hold. I'm in an active conversation right now with the people outside who are probably thinking I'm crazy. I can mute my microphone so they don't hear me anymore, but the conversation could still happen. I could hear what they're saying if I wanted to. Or I could also do this. Speaker is off, meaning the speaker is not going to talk to me anymore. I'm going to hang up the call, and that brings me out of it. I'm going to pop back in there only to show you very quickly. I'm going to mute my mic so people don't think I'm crazy. Over here, we have these same controls that we did before. Always remember, if you're in voice call, to end the call before closing. Word of the wise. Privacy mode, selecting that will turn the camera into privacy mode, meaning you cannot actively view it. It is not actively recording anything. You're just gonna get this blank screen. So we're gonna exit privacy mode to pull ourselves out of that and turn the camera back on so we can actually see it. Here we have our alarm off. Well, I wanna turn that on. Well, now my camera's making a noise outside, so people are definitely thinking there's a problem over here. I'm gonna turn that off very quickly. We have tag on or tag off. What is tag on and tag off? If you happen to have a person walk through here when the tag is on, or a pet walk through here, there will be a tag box around that individual saying this is a person or this is a pet, kind of like this. But this is only for the live view. This does not do for your recording. So just know, tagging only while things are actively being viewed. Here we have our TapoCare. That is the thing that I kind of swiped away at the bottom, but bringing us into that, there is a 30-day free trial that you get with any of the Tapo cameras. However, if you want, here are the prices for having that care for a month by month basis or yearly. What do you get with TapoCare? You get unlimited cloud storage of your clips, exclusive AI detection, rich notifications with snapshots, meaning when you get a notification, you don't just get a text alert saying, hey, there's something you should look at. You would get an image as well. And then Smart Sort. Classify cloud videos based on what's in them, what type of event they are. That is kind of handy, but not necessary. But that's all through TapoCare if you want to pay for a monthly subscription. The camera itself is 100% usable and functional, very functional without that subscription. Moving down, we're going to come to the Playback and Memories. Here we could see playback. If I scroll through my timeline, it's showing me people. And that right there is me walking my garbage can. I can select any one of these and it will start playing that selection. The thing I like about this, I'm gonna pause momentarily, is the timeline here. If I pinch to zoom, you'll notice that people are actually green on the timeline. That matches this. Now, you may be asking yourself, well, why is this blue back here and this is white? Well, right here, I was testing out the continuous recording mode to the SD camera. Currently, what I was doing was testing the clip mode. So the white space means that nothing was recorded, and these colorations are letting me know, hey, these are things that you should pay attention to. I can cycle through days. So if I bring myself back, notice orange is just motion. I have the blue, which is indicating continuous recording. So I could go back and do that myself if I wanted to. If I do a person, again, we can pinch to zoom in on that. This is one of the things that I wish Tapo had corrected in the application. And I don't know why, but they changed it with the notifications area. The only way now to download this clip of me testing the camera is actually to either start playing from one of these detections and take a snapshot of a photo, hit the record button. That record button will then record what's happening on screen, just like we had in that other screen where I was showing you, hey, this is the live feed, here's the record button. Once it's recorded, it then goes over to our memory section. Here you can see a bunch of memories. From the memories, I can select an individual clip and then I can share, favorite, download, or delete from here. I don't know why Tapo did not correct this from the last time I reviewed valued these cameras with this particular functionality in the app. In fact, they downgraded a little bit of that functionality from the notifications area, because the notification before would let you download that particular notification. Instead, you are brought to the playback area so that you can watch it and then record it. I have a strong feeling that if you pay for the Tapo service, then that notification will bring you right to the source file, which would allow you to download. It is a small gripe, but a data point that I want you to be aware of, because there's a lot of good features in the Tapo application, but there are definitely some points that could be worked on. I'm going to select back because that was our memories area. So that is everything that we can do for camera control for the Tapo C325WB, but that does not mean that we are out of options. We talked about the sprocket icon up here. Selecting this brings us into the application settings for this camera. This is where you do all the customization for this camera, and there's a lot to do in here. So let's start at the top. Right here we have the camera's name. Selecting that, well, it's taking an image from the most current thing that it sees. I can select an icon to represent this. It's got a lot of icons that you can choose from. You have the naming convention. Tap in there, you can change the name. We have the Wi-Fi network, so if I needed to change that, I could do that right there. We have signal strength, and then IP and MAC address, which I will hide, hardware version, and firmware version. If I select firmware, this is what I was talking about. I can manually check, or right here, I have auto update. If I select auto update, I can specify a date and time that this will automatically go and look for a firmware update. I love that feature. It's great. There is another place, which we'll touch on as we go through here, that allows you to update the firmware automatically during a set time. Within our area here, moving down, we have location. You have some preset locations, or I can type in a custom one. You saw that during setup. Time zone, much as it sounds, time zone. Another prompt to try the TapoCare. Invert image means taking the image and flipping it upside down in case you were mounting this in an odd angle. You have your LED status light on or off, depending on, again, where you have this mounted. You might want to have the indicator on or off. Privacy zones. These are really cool. If I turn on a privacy zone, hey, here's what the live feed shows. Setting up a privacy zone, I can turn my thing to landscape, or I can say add a zone, and then I get a little box. And what I can do with this box is manipulate it and move it. Well, over there, that happens to be my neighbor, and they leave their lights on sometimes. So if I select that, well, guess what? Now there's a black privacy zone set up there, and the camera will not record anything. And if I open up the camera, I don't see anything in that live view right there, which is very nice that without having to pay for, you can have that. And you notice I can have quite a few different privacy zones. I'm going to clear all of them because we don't need them right now. And I'm going to turn that off right there. And we're going to go back. Next, we have turn on spotlight at night. Right now, I have it turned off because the reason you're getting this camera is the awesome colored night vision that you get with this. Now, currently where I'm testing this, I have street light and my neighbor's lights, and it looks gorgeous, so I don't need this. However, if I turn on the light, well, that just means that the spotlight will be turned on. You can see right there, it kind of shows you the difference based on having the spotlight turn on and off. Now I'm going to leave the spotlight on because there's some options later on that I need to show you, but I need that on to do that. Spotlight settings. Right here we have brightness. You can set this all the way from 0% to 100%. 100% is going to be super bright. And again, it's trying to show you what that would look like. But again, right now it's daytime for me, so this isn't going to show as well. And then here we have the duration. So remember we saw that countdown timer? Well, if you activate it yourself, you're going to have that 5-minute countdown timer show up. However, if motion or a person sets it off, you're also going to have those LED spotlights stay on for a set amount of time. Minimum is 5 minutes, maximum is 30 minutes. I wish that they would allow you to have an option to customize, because I would like a little shorter than 5 minutes. That's splitting hairs. That's all done through here and in our spotlight settings. Next, we have our detections and alerts. If I select this, we have the ability to have motion alerts, and that's just going to be any motion. Anything can set it off. You have a sliding scale as to how sensitive that would be, but here we can also set up an active zone. You see this red haze? Might be a little tricky to see on the camera, but red haze right there. If I select active zone, I can customize just how much I want the camera to focus on, and I can add multiple zones. So if I want this, but nothing in the middle, I can do that. And we're just gonna go back and turn off motion, because I don't want everything setting this off. I only want specific things, and that is where the AI detection comes in. Here I have AI detection for person, again, sensitivity slider, and you're gonna have that for everything. Person, pet, which is what they call animal. Notice it's got the tag around it, so you can do the beta tag for animals and then vehicle. Now, for me, because this is facing the street, I do not have this on, but I can turn that on. And again, motion slider letting me know how sensitive I would like that to be. And that's why I have motion detection off, because I'm using all the AI detection. Here we have line cross. This is something that I've played with before, and I like it. It makes a little line that says, hey, if somebody or something crosses this, let me know. My problem with this was even headlights, if they flash, they would send a notification. The one thing I do kind of like about this, if I go into the settings, notice the direction of this arrow. I have switch direction. Coming or going, let me know. Only going this way, let me know. Only coming in, let me know. That is a very cool feature. And then I can make this larger and kind of swivel it around like that. If I want to, I can add another one right there. I'm going to delete that one. But this switch direction is really nice. I kind of like the fact that they let you pick which way that boundary goes, as well as you can set up a schedule. Right now, everything is set for on. If I come up to edit, I can say, yeah, don't turn it on during these times. And then I can select all or I can clear all. I'm just gonna leave that as is and go back. Camera tampering, this will send you a notification alert if tampering is detected with the camera. I like the update that they've done with the application and this camera. It's not as sensitive as it used to be because bugs used to set it off. Now I have not had any tamper alerts unless I'm out there like actively rocking the camera back and forth myself. Detection tagging, this is what we were talking about in that live feed where it says, this is a person. So you can do detection tagging, and then you can also select whether you want it labeled as a person or not. That's what that is. Activity notifications, well, yes, I want active activity notifications. Do I want Rich? Well, guess what? You have to pay for that. So Rich is going to be sending you a thumbnail screenshot of what was seen without going into the camera first. When would you like this? All day, during the night, or for a custom duration? And I can come in here, customization right here by activating that. And we're just gonna say always, put that back, and then camera alarm on or off. If I select on, well, guess what? This gives us some options. What happens? How does it happen? Alarm type? Well, we've got sound and light, so it will sound and flash the lights. We have sound type, we have default, custom, and then we have siren, emergency, and red alert. You also have your volume from low to high and normal. I'm going to select back. You have alarm duration. How long does it last? Which is about 5 seconds. You can have all the way up to 30 or custom, and you just really go ham. 30 seconds. So anywhere in between right there. I could put that back to default, which is the 5 seconds. Well, what do you want to trigger this alarm? People, pets, motion, camera tampering, line detection, vehicle detection. You can customize, maybe I only want these two to set the alarm off. Well, now those are the only things that are gonna set the alarm off, which I appreciate. I like the fact that they give you that level of customization. And then alarm schedule, all day, during night, and custom, just like we had before. I'm going to turn the alarm off because I do not want my neighbors to hate me more than they already do. That was detections and alerts. Now we're coming down to micro SD card. Here we can see micro SD card is set for looping, meaning the oldest clips will be written over as new clips are added, or if you have continuous video recording, as it reaches the end, it will just roll back and start over. I do like the fact that I can turn off loop recording if I wanted to and manually remove the SD card. That's going to be extra work because you have to take it down and access that SD card panel. Formatting down there will format SD card, meaning it'll wipe everything that's on it. So be very careful with that. And then you can actually see used space on the SD card there. Selecting back, we have recording schedule. Well, right now I have continuous set up, and you can see this block of orange. Those are detection readings only, and then do not record. Make any changes, we simply come up to edit, and then we select what we want to do. So I'm going to do this, and if I double tap on one, it clears it, and then triple tap puts it back to what it was, or I can clear all, clear everything. And that is setting up a schedule right there. I'm going to go back. Video quality, if I select this, well, this is going to be how the video is presented to you. So right here, I can force it to always do the 2K. I can force it to always do 720. They call it data savings, but it is still considered HD. And auto will toggle between the two based on your bandwidth. HDR mode, well, here you can see from the image, well, right now I have HDR off. What happens when I turn it on? It helps enhance specific areas. This is going to be a by use case option for you. Where I currently have mine, having the HDR on during the daytime makes things look a little darker than I would like, but at night, it really helps to bring out those night clips, bringing in, again, because it's pretty much enhancing shadows right there. It's an option, it's there for you. That is the big thing with this, is the customization that you have access to. That was all video quality, advanced settings. Well, Privacy mode, hey, we did that before. This is just another way to access that. Record audio. Well, some places it is illegal to record audio with your video, so here's how you could turn that on or off. Power line frequency, well, you have the ability to change this, again, if you want to. Customization is key. If you don't know what that is, do stay out of there and leave it on auto. Device account, well, you can create a account just for this camera. Not necessary, but it's there. Want to show you that. Voice call mode, we have standard mode, or we can do compatibility mode, which ensures stability. So it kind of lowers your bandwidth automatically doing that if you select that option. On-screen displays, well, do you want the timestamp? How would you like the timestamp displayed? Do you want text to display? That's all going to be when you're actively looking through or on your recordings. If I toggle this on, what I like is this is customizable. I can have that say anything I want. So I can actually have it say garage, back patio, something like that as part of the image file itself. So very good for surveillance if you need it. Tapo logo. If you want the Tapo logo as part of the video recording, on or off right there, we're going to select back. Those were our on-screen displays. Diagnostic, this is useful if you want Tapo to help you diagnose an issue. If you have this turned off, it won't gather data, but that also means there's nothing that you can send to Tapo to help you out with that. And that was all of our advanced settings. Moving on, we have the mounting guide. This will walk you through the mounting process for this, so I'm not going to show you all of it, but that's what that is. Share device, you can share this camera with a specific person. Letting you know right here, they'll have limited access, but they will also need their own Tapo account. So I can send it to them, but they need their own Tapo account and the Tapo app in order to be able to see my camera. There we have auto reboot, on or off. Sometimes you want to reboot your camera automatically. You can do that from there. Feedback, here I can send feedback directly to Tapo. I can reboot my camera manually right there, or I can remove the camera. Coming back, we have our Tapo camera. That was everything that we could do for the settings as well as the camera itself. Quickly, I'm going to back out to the Tapo app itself because there have been some changes here since I last did my review. We have home right there, which is what we're on. I can select cameras, which is just going to show me, hey, here are all my camera feeds. I can select detection mode where I'm home or I'm away, and then I can add more cameras right from there by hitting the plus sign. Here, if I had vacuums, they would all show up in one spot. Smart. Well, do I want to set up a routine with any of my lighting or cameras? I have shortcuts and automations. That's all done through Smart. And then me, as you might imagine, is more of your Tapo account information, but also a singular place that you can look to update all of your firmware for all of your cameras in one place. So that has been everything that you can do with the Tapo app for the Tapo C325WB.